I'm so pleased to have been invited to speak at the Independent Custody Visitors Association annual conference, and I'm sorry that I can't be there to address you in person today. Independent custody visitors perform an important role safeguarding vulnerable people and help raise public awareness on the rights, entitlements, health and well-being of people held in police custody. It is for this reason that I'm pleased to be able to say a few words about independent custody visitors, ICVA, and offer support for your conference. Under the United Nations Optional Protocol Against Torture, ICVA performs its role as part of a coordinating body which supports unannounced visits to places of detention to inspect the treatment of people deprived of their liberty in the United Kingdom. It supports the work of individual custody visitors who promote decent, humane and fair treatment for people detained in police custody, ensuring their welfare, monitoring standards, and raising issues as they relate to individuals or the custody environment. As such, independent custody visiting provides an important check on the treatment, ensuring that detained people are treated fairly and justly during their detention. It was Dostoevsky who argued that a society can be judged by the way that it treats its prisoners, and it is the commitment of independent and volunteer custody visitors that helps us to improve our society. Now I want to talk about some of the work that the government is doing which relates to the work that you do. The government is committed to ensuring that everyone is treated humanely and with dignity when in police custody, which is why we are committed to maintaining the funding to the organisation. But we are also particularly concerned about those people that come into police detention, whether offenders or non-offenders detained under the Mental Health Act 1983, which is why we are currently working on a number of initiatives in this area. The Home Office and Department of Health have been jointly leading a review into the operation of Sections 135 and 136 of the Mental Health Act of 1983. The aim of the review is to consider whether the primary legislation supports the overarching objective for all public services to respond to the needs of people experiencing mental health crisis at the right time. The review will be published by the end of 2014. In February, the government published a national mental health crisis care concordat, agreed by over 20 national stakeholders, which sets out very clear expectations about the standard of response people in mental health crisis should expect. It leaves local agencies, criminal, justice and health, in no doubt about what is expected of them. Also, in February of this year, the Home Secretary commissioned Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary to conduct a thematic inspection into the treatment of vulnerable people in police custody. This report is on schedule and will inform the government's thinking on how best to improve the experience of vulnerable people in police detention. HMIC will report on its findings in March next year. In April, we launched liaison and diversion schemes across 12 police forces. These NHS England commissioned schemes operate a core model and aim to identify, assess and refer offenders with mental health problems and other vulnerabilities at first point of contact with the police and the criminal justice system for treatment. This should divert the mentally vulnerable away from police custody and into an environment where their healthcare needs can be taken care of. And finally, last month, the Home Secretary hosted a summit on policing and mental health with Black Mental Health UK. The event brought together a diverse range of stakeholders from the policing, health, mental health, voluntary and community sectors to maintain momentum on our work in this area. And a number of important issues related to custody were explored on the day, including police training around the identification of people with vulnerabilities and their use of physical restraint. The learning from this event will inform our forward work plan. And I know this year has been a busy one for ICVA. You have developed national standards on independent custody visiting, which the Home Office is very pleased to endorse. These national standards reflect the experiences of all involved in the custody visiting process and incorporate the many good practices that have been developed locally within different force areas. In the last year, ICVA have elected a new chair, Martin Underhill, who is also PCC for Dorset, and I am sure that he will continue the work to raise the profile of ICVA in developing national standards. But I would like to thank Chief Executive Ian Smith, OBE, ICVA's Chief Executive, and also Anna Jarrett, ICVA's Executive Assistant, for their excellent work, continued commitment and dedication. Independent custody visitors have continued to support the police to ensure that everyone, including those that are most often the most vulnerable in society, are treated in a way befitting a civilized society. And I am incredibly grateful to those people that give up their spare time as volunteers to safeguard the health and well-being of people held in police custody. And I value and respect the work of independent custody visitors under ICVA, who play a vital role in raising standards of custody and the treatment of detainees. It is with these closing sentiments that I wish you and your conference success.